Alrighty, in this video, I'm going to show how to create your first server-side container inside of your Google Tag Manager account, and then how to get it connected to your Google Cloud account, which is ultimately your server, and then finally how to connect to DNS so you have your own domain like collect.getoliver.com or any other custom domain, which I would recommend creating one that is fairly unique and don't use just collect.yourdomain.com. Alrighty, inside your Google Tag Manager account, you'll go to your admin settings, and then we'll click to create a new container. We'll just give it a name here, and then you'll see the server side option here at the bottom. So go ahead and click server and then create, and now we'll have a brand new container. So this process is, Google makes it really simple. So most of the time you're going to want to automatically provision the tagging server. So if you just click the automatically provision tagging server here, this will walk us through the process inside of your Google Cloud account, and then we'll get going with our DNS setup. So one thing to note, you will need to have a billing account for your Google Cloud account for your server-side container. If you do not have one, again, Google makes this process very simple. It'll walk you through creating a billing account. So you'll need your email and a credit card to drop in. You will have a credit that will be automatically applied to your account, and any tagging, any server-side tagging that you do will be, again, run against that credit, and then ultimately you'll have your billing per month. Hard to say what the estimate is since this is still fairly new. I've seen some that are doing upwards of 5+ million hits a day, and they're still their bill per month is still $100 to $200 per month in total. So should be fairly low, but keep this in mind as creating a server, you will have a small billing as you go, small monthly billing as you go forward. I already have the billing account set up. Again, it's super simple if you don't. So I'm just going to select this billing account and now create the server. Alrighty, now we have our new server created, and you'll see we have some configuration details that Google Cloud provided. So the first thing we'll just notice here, you already have a URL. So this is your default URL for your server. If you did nothing else and you did not set up a subdomain, then you could send data and requests to your server using this URL. But for this training, this setup, we'll be going through and creating our own subdomain for our account. So now we can go ahead and close this. And if we could continue to start creating tags and triggers inside a container, but we're going to pop over to Google Cloud. So inside of Google Cloud, so you just go to your console.cloud.google.com. I'm just going to go ahead and refresh the page here. And you'll notice, first you'll notice if it's your first time in here, it can be very confusing. But there'll be a navigation menu here on the left. And you'll want to go to App Engine here and then just go to Dashboard. So at this point, you'll have your dashboard, and this will contain your different GTM accounts in addition to if you have any servers set up inside of Google Cloud. So you'll notice I have a couple going on here. So we have a GTM name, which is going to be your app engine name. And then this is actually going to be your server for your server-side container that you are utilizing with GTM. So we'll go ahead and click this. And now you are looking at most likely a dashboard that makes no sense to you, but that's okay if it's your first time in here. What we want to go to is settings. So we'll go to settings here on the left-hand side, and then we'll go to custom domains. So custom domains, again, we are in our GTM account, which is the GTM dash. This is the app engine that we're utilizing. The custom domains are going to be ultimately the URLs that we'll be using to send data to. So it's pretty simple to add a custom domain. So one thing to point out before you start this process is make sure the domain that you are currently on, and more importantly, the user that you are logged in as, make sure that you are a verified user of that domain. And the verified user happens through your Search Console. So this is really important. Otherwise, you might get caught in the loop here. Is make sure to go to Search Console, go to your domain, and ensure that you are a verified owner and that your user persists through all of these pages. So let's say you have a potentially a company Gmail account and you have your personal Gmail account. Those can get crisscrossed where you have access for one but not the other. So just ensure that whatever email you are using for the app server is the same email that has access in Search Console. Now we have that out of the way. let's go back to the Google Cloud Platform and add a custom domain. So this will go through the process of creating your subdomain. So select the subdomain you want to use and then point a subdomain here. So if we wanted to add a new one, so we'll do server-side tagging. We'll save our mappings here. Oops. Let's go back. Server-side tagging.getelevar.com. Alrighty. Now we have a new domain. And at this point, Google is going to give us a few DNS records that we'll have to add to really get this URL in a functional state. So again, the subdomain I have here is sstagging.getelevar.com. And now I have these DNS records that Google is asking for me to update. So let's pop over to our DNS account. So for Elevar, we're using Cloudflare. And then this is showing the DNS records that are set up. If you might be using GoDaddy, you might be using potentially other accounts, network solutions, etc. But this is a very important step that in order to connect your subdomain, so have your subdomain be the URL that you're sending data to, instead of the URL that we see right here, we have to make sure we go through this DNS mapping process. So all you have to do is just add these. So you have your A records, your AA records, and your CNAME records, is add these to your DNS account, just like you see here. And then you're good to go. This sometimes takes, I think for me, I've seen it take like an hour or so for it to actually work. But once you have this step done, then you are good to go. And let's just mark this as done. And now we'd have a new custom subdomain, and you'll see that this will actually, Google will notify you once it's ready to go. And that's it. So just to recap for the setup of your own server-side container, number one is we're going to go through admin, create a new container, create the new server-side container type. Number two is once inside the new container, we are going to go through the process of automatically provisioning a new server, and this will connect you to App Engine. Your App Engine is your Google Cloud server, and you'll have a unique App Engine ID up top. Once you are inside of here, go to your App Engine dashboard, and then you can make your way to your custom domains, which is the next step, which is going to settings, adding that custom subdomain. Once you are a verified user of the URL and you add your subdomain, then the last step is going to your DNS provider and actually updating the DNS records, and then wait about an hour or so and the URL is ready. So that's it. That is less than 10 minutes in getting you up and running with a server-side container and your own unique URL to send data to.